all for coming today. I really do appreciate you joining me. And this is a bittersweet day for me, but I have a few things I'd like to say. And like I said, I appreciate y'all coming. To the point of why we're here, I'm going to make a statement regarding the 2021 municipal elections. And after my statement, I will take a few questions from the press. But before doing so, I think it's important for me to touch on some past and current issues that have influenced my decision. Almost 28 years ago, I was attempting to make a decision whether I would seek election to the Beaumont City Council. To put this in perspective, our youngest city council member serving today was barely 10 years old. Our current long-term city manager was in his early 20s, right out of college, at that time assistant to then city manager Ray Riley, and I was in my early 30s, a while back. Fast forward to recent weeks, I once again have found myself in the same position. However, this time around, I have been trying to decide if I want to seek an 8th term as your mayor. Unless you have served in the position, it's very, very hard to truly understand what is required to deal with the variety of personalities, issues, and events in a normal year, much less what we have experienced in 2020 with multiple storms and shepherding our community through an uncharted water pandemic, global pandemic. When I finally made my initial decision in the early 90s that I wanted to seek the position to become an at-large member of the Beaumont City Council, I started to develop a plan for the goals I would establish for my public service effort. Once those goals were developed, then how would I implement an action plan to make as many of my objectives possible a reality? Including my goals back then, and a few of these aspirations still remain with me today, was my vision to make our city more appealing, attractive, and inviting in a variety of ways to our citizens, visitors, and families that might be considering relocation to Beaumont, and to the corporate citizens that help fuel our local economy, in addition to revitalizing our central business district or our downtown area. When I first sought election to the City Council, I had performed some volunteer work in the community. Although I was not well known throughout the city, I was untested with the responsibilities that came with the position, so I knew I had my work cut out for me. As the longest serving mayor in Beaumont's history, serving 7 terms of 14 years as mayor, in addition to serving 7 terms as an at-large member of the City Council, I have enjoyed the opportunity to develop some great relationships with many of you that are here today. Also with individuals locally, statewide, and nationally. These relationships have proven to be invaluable, especially when handling natural disasters, dealing with COVID-19 last year and now, and to simply pick up the phone and speak with mayors and elected representatives from across the country to discuss programs or approaches that may or may not have been effective or successful. During my time in office, I think that I have developed an excellent understanding of the duties of my position. In addition, I know firsthand the demands that public service can play on your personal life. In recent weeks, I have taken time to reflect on my public service to date and grade myself on what I, along with the various mayors and city council members that I have served with, along with city staff that I have worked with over the years, have been able to accomplish, and there is much. I have always felt that if I was going to be successful in the role of mayor or council member and prove to be effective for all the citizens of Beaumont, my first order of business every day would be to let my actions confirm to the citizens that my service is not partisan. I would never show favoritism to any special interest group or individual, never have a hidden agenda, always be accessible, accept responsibility for any mistakes and learn from them, and be there for the right reason, learn the governing process, make tough or many times unpopular decisions, and work hard on behalf of all the citizens, even if they had not supported me. I would like to think that I have consistently met these objectives. In my years of public service to date, I have often jokingly said that potholes don't have political parties. From my point of view, that should hold true with any city government more than any other elected body. In my opinion, partisanship of any kind should never enter council chambers. Unfortunately, in recent years, this is taking place across the nation, and I do believe that partisan politics has been creeping into our own Beaumont City Council. I find that somewhat disappointing for many reasons that I will expand upon. I have served all the citizens of Beaumont for 27 plus years. I still got a few months left too, by the way. Along the lines of partisanship, I think it is important to touch on the City Council being the governing board for the City of Beaumont. The city charter is very clear regarding the role of the mayor and council members, along with the duties and responsibilities of key city staff that are appointed directly by the mayor and council. Those are the city attorney, Tyrone Cooper, the city manager, Kyle Hayes, city clerk, Tina Broussard, and chief magistrate, Judge Craig Lively. They all do an excellent job, and I'm proud of every one of them, and I've enjoyed serving with them. It is always disheartening to me when any member of the City Council appears to violate the city charter, circumvent these key city staff members, or possibly even violate the Open Meetings Act. With any governing body, agreeing on every issue will most likely never occur. That's okay. Actually, that's great. And having different opinions can be very healthy and positive for our city. However, when the governing body votes on an issue and is a split vote, one side has to prevail. I often say that if you can't understand that, then you really shouldn't be on a governing body. The majority decision needs to be adopted, and the governing body should move forward to the next issue unless at some point in the future a majority of the City Council chooses to revisit the issue. Unfortunately, in recent years, that has not always been the case, which is very troubling to me and has created some divisiveness. And in my opinion, that is not good or healthy for our city. Regarding partisanship in the governing body role, I would encourage our citizens to ignore the misinformation sometimes posted on social media or blogs regarding our city government and those who serve. These comments are often generated by individuals that do not have all the correct facts and in many cases don't even care to do so. To me, it's a waste of everyone's time when individuals post half-truths in a counterproductive way on the various social media sites or blogs. I encourage everyone to do their homework carefully, and please take these important thoughts into consideration when you read or hear something negative about the City of Beaumont operations or those individuals who are elected or appointed to serve. When it comes to electing the next Beaumont City Council, I respectfully ask that you make sure that the candidates you are going to support are team players that can agree to disagree and then move forward. Truly are independent, that your selections are not beholden to anyone or any group, and the various individuals should be seeking the positions for all the right reasons, as I've mentioned earlier. Today, after serving as a council member at large and as mayor for decades, both Beaumont in a positive way looks different city now compared to when I was first elected. I believe our accomplishments have far exceeded our challenges. Despite numerous negative emergency-related events such as hurricanes, tropical storms, flooding, and COVID-19, I find myself somewhat amazed today when I drive around our city and compare things to my early days of public service. I think we should all take pride in the fact that Beaumont has never looked better, even in the aftermath of 2020, and ask the question, how can we make it even better? I invite you to visit some of Beaumont's beautiful city-related venues that have been made available to our citizens in the past several years. I'm especially proud of the Event Center, the Lakeside Center, our impressive tennis center, Beaumont Public Health Clinic that has played such an important role in dealing with COVID-19, and our world-class Cattail Marsh wetlands and boardwalk, not to mention the community centers throughout our city. I encourage you to attend one of the numerous entertainment events and festivals, walk on one of our hike and bike trails, check a library out at one of our various attractive libraries located throughout the city. Take time to talk to one of our well-trained and equipped first responders that work from modern, up-to-date facilities, and take the time to learn about Beaumont's state-of-the-art emergency operations center that is known to be one of the best in the Gulf Coast, headed up by Captain Tim Opnichek. I'm very passionate about emergency operations, and those that many of you in this room know that. It's probably been one of my best parts of the job. And I must say that I gained a tremendous amount of knowledge from the first-rate staff that I have worked with during numerous disasters. Also, and they've seen me without makeup and in pajamas, by the way. Also, being that I'm a big animal lover, I'm also especially proud of our Beaumont Animal Services and Shelter that used to be a pound and now has earned the status of being one of the few no-kill city shelters in the state for almost 3 years. Although not actually part of our city government, take a look at the campuses of Lamar University and Lamar Institute of Technology. Both of these organizations have worked closely with the city to enhance their campuses, and both institutions are drawing students from around the world, and this makes our city even more appealing. I've talked a lot about bricks and mortar, infrastructure, quality of life initiatives, but in my opinion, one of the most important roles of the mayor, along with the city manager and financial staff, is to ensure that our city remains in a strong financial position and that audits are clean and transparent. I can honestly say that without a doubt, we have achieved that goal in most difficult of times. Again, even in the aftermath of 2020, our fund balance remains healthy. Fiscal responsibility is critical to any mayor's success. To save time, please review the list that I will provide at the end of my statement that recaps some of the city projects and efforts that stand out to me that I was involved with from start to finish or strongly supported since first being elected. I've had the unique opportunity to work with some tremendous staff members headed up by City Manager Kyle Hayes, who I can't say enough good things about, along with our City Attorney Tyrone Cooper. As I stated above, one person cannot do anything serving on a governing body. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the consistent support of past mayors and many past and present council members. I have made what some might think is a campaign speech or laying out the groundwork of my accomplishments that would be the basis for another campaign. I have truly enjoyed serving as your mayor. The day I was elected, it was one of the greatest days of my life, with the exception of the day I married Rodney almost 38 years ago, and he's here today. I love our city and want to continue to be a part of our success. However, there is a time in life when we must evaluate where we are and where we want to go from this point. I believe now is the time for me to take that step. In early January of this year, Rodney and I started privately discussing the possibility that I would step down at the end of this current term. Then COVID-19 came on the scene, and as a city, we were in uncharted waters, and a plan to deal with COVID-19 had to be developed quickly. Next came 2 hurricanes plus a tropical storm that all threatened Beaumont, and those had to be dealt with while taking COVID-19 issues into account. From there, we went on to preparing a city budget that did not include a tax rate increase. So making the decision to seek another term went off my radar, and rightfully so, for the first several months of 2020. And it was not the most important issue on the table for me. However, over the last several weeks, Rodney and I have gotten back on track regarding our future, and we prayed about a decision, discussed with trusted friends and family, and certainly gave the re-election topic a whole lot of thought. Some have asked if I have one more campaign in me. The support that I have been shown over the last several weeks while attempting to make my decision has been quite overwhelming. I am pleased to say that my long-time base has not wavered. I'm totally confident that I would be reelected if I were to seek another term. I would point out that in the past 14 campaigns that Rodney and I have successfully conducted, I've had more than one challenger in all but one campaign, which in 2009 when I was unopposed. My record of delivering on my past campaign platforms is my best asset, and having opponents is just part of the process. The support for another campaign in 2021 has been extremely strong, including major endorsements that have already been committed. Our firefighters are here today. And financial pledges to conduct a first-class winning effort like we have put together in all my previous campaigns. I know there has been some suspense surrounding my future as your mayor. However, I have made the bittersweet decision and am announcing today that I will not seek re-election to another term as your mayor in the upcoming election. Coming to that point was not taken lightly, and it certainly wasn't easy. Where do I go from here? First, let me state that if you do not hear a direct comment from me or my authorized spokesperson, do not believe what you hear or read on the blogs or social media. When I was preparing this announcement, my sister and I made the decision before Christmas to move my mother from Harbor Hospice Hospital to her home with 24/7 caregivers, and we both knew that she deserved our unlimited time, love, and support. My family was part of my decision-making process. On a personal note, I'm saddened to say that my mother joined her friends and family in heaven on this past Sunday evening. My plans now are to complete my current term with the same enthusiasm and dedication that I've demonstrated to date, and then step away from public life for a period of time to be determined. I want to focus my time and energy on a great position that I accepted in March of this past year with GMJ Inc., a firm founded by former County Judge Carl Griffith. I will also be dedicating some time to the Emergency Evacuation Task Force that I was recently appointed to by Governor Greg Abbott. In addition, I will be considering some other public service options that have been mentioned to me if I were to leave the mayor's position. These potential roles would allow me to serve the citizens of Southeast Texas in a different capacity while I continue my professional role with GMJ. Finally, and last but certainly not least, I need to dedicate some time to my family. Today I'm here to simply say thank you for allowing me to serve you for so many years. Considering an individual that I might support for mayor in the 2021 elections, I've always had a policy to not publicly support local candidates because in many cases, as the mayor, I would have to work with the winner. By supporting a candidate that may not be elected could prove to not be in the best interest of the citizens of Beaumont. However, since I will be leaving office, I may change that policy. As you may be aware, filing for office begins today and ends on February 11th. I'm not the only person that can do this job. There will be many opportunities and new challenges for the next mayor. I'm hopeful that some good qualified candidates step up. I can say at this time that I have not put my support behind any candidate that has announced to date. Again, all I would ask is that the citizens study all the candidates before you vote. I want to sincerely thank all those loyal supporters and friends that have been there from day one, believed in me, trusted my judgment, worked on my behalf, offered their input, voted for me, and provided the financial support needed to get my message out. I would like to give an extra thanks to my husband, Rodney, as I mentioned, is here today, that has been by my side the entire time. Some of you probably like him better than you like me. I truly appreciate the city staff and those council members who have lent their support to me over many years. I'm grateful for all of your time and friendship. I will continue to serve as your mayor until my term ends, which will probably be May or June, depending on the runoff. I'm not gone till I'm gone, so don't underestimate this last few months. Okay, but thank y'all again for coming, and I appreciate it very much. As I said, this has been very bittersweet for me. I love the city. I love the people that I work with at the city. I love emergency operations. And actually, COVID 19 has taught us a lot. Even though we wouldn't want to go through it again, it certainly taught us what we can do when we have challenges put in front of us that are uncharted. And I want to thank everyone. I think Sherry Elmer's here, and I don't know if Tim's here, but all the people that, there he is, all the people that have supported me in emergency operations. As I said, that's what's near and dear to my heart as the mayor. But everything else is also important. And like I said, I'm not the only person that can do this job, and I feel quite confident that someone really good will step up to the plate. Now I'll entertain any questions that y'all might have. Thank you.
I guess the applause is going to coattail my question. What's it mean to have so much support in this room today?
Well, I actually didn't really invite anybody, so it means a whole lot because I was trying to practice what I preach and make sure everyone could social distance. But the guys in the back work together every day, so I guess they're beside each other. But it means a tremendous amount. And like I said, I've always felt support from the community, and this is no different. And a lot of the people here today are city staff, and that means a lot when you have long-term city staff members. And I think you could compare us to just about any other city when you have the chief appointed officials that have been with us for so very long. That says a lot about the organization. And so I really appreciate all of them coming, and it means a lot. Thanks.
Several criteria for people to evaluate when determining who will elect next. One of those is somebody running for the right reasons. To you, what are those reasons?
The ones that I mentioned, that you need to not be beholden to any certain special interest group. You need to be open to all citizens because you are representing every citizen in the city. I've tried extremely hard to do that. I think I've done a pretty good job. You can never do a perfect job, but I've done a pretty good job at that. To be a team player, and it's not all about me, it's about the organization and the people that I work with. You have to understand that you can't do anything by yourself. If you don't have support of your council members, then you can't get anything done. I think if you look at our record over the last several years, you can see peaks and valleys when we had different councils and how much we got done during those periods. And I think it directly reflects that. I'm sorry, would you say it again, and then I'll get to you next, okay?
So you led us through multiple natural disasters with Harvey and Imelda, and now, in the midst of a pandemic. Did that play a factor in any way to your decision to not run?
Well, as I mentioned, emergency management is something I truly enjoy. However, I'd never wish that on anyone. But with that said, you can never say that it doesn't impact you to a certain degree because it's very, I don't think anyone realizes what really happens in emergency operations when we have an event like we've had. I think Captain Oknichek over there looked it up one time, and under my watch, there was like 200 something declared, or no, 24, Tim, or something like that, declared natural disasters since I've been mayor, and 19 of them, or since 1953, I'm trying to get my words right. 17 of them were under my watch, so I've had my share for sure. And I'm not going to say it doesn't play a factor because when a hurricane comes, I don't have to go straight to the emergency ops center. I get to go somewhere else. So it's not the determining reason for sure. All of the things are. Plus, I've done it for a long time. I need to give someone else a chance to see what they can do and bring our city to another level, hopefully. That's what I pray for. But certainly has a little bit of a weight on the individual that is responsible. Yeah.
Mayor Ames, I would like to send my condolences to you and your family for your loss.
Thank you.
Secondly, I would like to ask, what do you want your legacy to be remembered as during your time here in Beaumont?
I I used to call myself the hugging mayor, but that was when I was first elected. I don't really do that too much anymore for obvious reasons. That was a joke. But some of the staff members that are here will remember that. But I just think that that I was open and accessible, that I served all the citizens of Beaumont, and that's really important to me. Of course, our emergency operations center is important to me. Our downtown area is very important to me. But overall, I want to be known as the mayor that everyone in town just about has her cell phone, because really and truly that is not an understatement. And I answer it, and I return my calls, and I do listen. And sometimes I can't always do what everyone wants. You always can't please everyone. But, you know, to have the ability, when a citizen has something that you truly understand where they're coming from, but you just can't do it, to be able to say, you know what, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not possible. And I think that's where a lot of elected officials make a mistake, is that they want to say yes to everyone, and you can't. Mm-hmm.
One last question there. Gonna have to ask, you know, the incident at the nail salon, you received a lot of backlash for that. Did that play any factor in your decision?
No, but what I will say is thank you for asking that question, because I'd like to say, no, I didn't get my nails done. Yes, the salon owner took my photograph for gain of her salon. No one was fired. Nobody lost their license. I think I was probably the only one that suffered from that, but yet there was something out there that made people think people got fired and she was going to lose her license. You know, shame on her.
Mayor, would you say this perhaps could have been your most resilient term in terms of your character? You dealt with hurricanes, scrutiny for the infamous nail situation. Do you feel like this has been the most time that you just kind of have
Weren't they
to
pretty?
push through with everything going on right now?
Oh, yeah. I think that 2020, I think most every elected official would tell you that 2020 was grueling, and that it challenged us in so many ways. It certainly did me. And Beaumont had more than the usual, because we've had, you know, the storms and the flooding and that kind of thing. But you learn from those things. So I wouldn't trade it. I would hope that we wouldn't have as many storms. But every one of them is different. I mean, you can't just say, well, I went through this hurricane, so I know what to do on the next one, because the people that work in emergency management will tell you they're not the same. Harvey, we dealt with rising water and, you know, rain for days and days and days, and then summer wind. You treat them all differently. You can't react the same to every single disaster. If you do, you'll fail. Okay? If there's nothing else, I appreciate again y'all coming. I did mention that I have, it's just a recap, and it's not even near complete because it would take like 10 pages or more. But some things that I'm especially proud of, because I didn't want to talk about them all in my talk because y'all would be tired of standing. But, and so would I. But I will, if you're interested in it, I have some copies here for the press. Okay, thank y'all so much. Thank you. Okay. They're right here. And my friend Sherry's here too, look, supporting me. Oh, okay, well.